Blood, sweat, and tears. The thrill of competition, danger, noise, and pushing the limits of human capability have driven humans to compete in racing for thousands of years. Is it the adrenaline rush? The sense of control over something else, powering those who compete in speed sports to continue on? Whatever may be the motivation, the need for speed pushed those in the past to commit grand feats. And thus, chariot racing was born.
Chariot racing originates from at least 700 BC from abroad in Grecian cultures. Horses became part of the Olympic Games in 684 BC, leading to the occurrence of 4-horse chariot races at the Hippodrome at Olympia. Chariot racing's popularity in Rome had coincided with the construction of the Circus Maximus by Rome's first Etruscan king, Lucius Tarquinius Priscus.
Chariot racing was primarily held at the Circus Maximus, the largest of the Roman hippodromes, and one of the largest sports arenas ever constructed. It is a U-shaped structure which has been renovated, rebuilt, and expanded to accommodate for the wild popularity of chariot racing as well as other forms of entertainment. It held gladiator fights, wild animal hunts, and more.
Chariot racing began from 12 gates, known as carcares, 6 on both sides of an entrance, built along a slight curve to make it fair for all participants. In the center of the track was the spina, decorated with monuments and shrines, for example, one to Mircea, an epithet of Venus, and one to Consus, the protector of grains.
In terms of rules, participants had to stay within a marked line until the point where they could leave their lane and jockey for a stronger position. In addition, they had to draw lots to determine what lane they would begin in and had to wait for the presiding magistrate to drop a white flag, a mappa.
Typically, a race consisted of 13 turns around the turning post, mete for a total of 7 laps around 3 miles, which could be run in 8 to 9 minutes. However, emperors would reduce the number of laps, such as Domitian, to garner incredible numbers in the amount of races run in a day for entertainment.
Despite the horses' well-bred status in chariot racing, imported from North Africa and Hispania, the majority of charioteers were enslaved or freedmen. However, the best charioteers could amass fabulous fame and fortune from their winnings.
In Rome, women could not be charioters but could own and sponsor a team. However, in Greece, there was a small minority of female charioters, the most famous being Cynisca of Sparta, the first female champion of the Olympic Games in 392 and 396 BC.
For viewers, attendance was free, with men and women being able to sit together, beginning thousands of Roman marriages, and the lower seats being reserved for the more wealthy and important citizens.
For some social elites, they found the sport silly due to its popularity with the lower classes, who passionately supported their favorite factions. However, some Christian authors opposed the sport, as the Circus Maximus had numerous symbols to multiple gods and was grand in its construction.
Diocles, a charioteer during the reign of Marcus Aurelius, is estimated to have won the modern-day equivalent of 15 billion across his career of 4,257 races, spanning across a 24-year-long career and retiring at the age of 42, living to enjoy his success. Today he stands as the richest athlete, surpassing modern-day athletes.
The most famous charioteer is Flavius Scorpius, a Hispania-born slave who bought his freedom and gained wide celebrity as a charioteer for the Green faction, dying in the arena at the age of 27. He won 2,048 races and was beloved by the poet Martial, mentioned twice in Martial's book Epigrams X. Martial once compared himself to the charioteer, declaring, "O Rome, I am Scorpius, the glory of your noisy circus, the object of your applause, your short-lived favorite. The envious Lachesis, when she cut me off in my 27th year, accounted me, in judging by the number of my victories, to be an old man."
The sport's popularity gradually eased after the fall of Imperial Rome. The last chariot race at the Circus Maximus occurred in 549 BC due to the trouble of maintaining the races. However, the sport continued on in the Byzantine Empire, preserved by a loyal fan base in the Hippodrome of Constantinople.
Chariot racing is the father to many modern forms of entertainment. especially with car racing, NASCAR, and F1 being the most popular examples. Humans all throughout history have been enamored with speed and bloodshed, and thus as technology advances, chariot racing adapts to its new molds.